If you're just joining us, Rudy Giuliani is sweating his face off, explaining to us why Trump really won the election.
Inspectors. Every state. Almost every approved this. It's thrown away. Gone for eternity.
Is this a skit?
The only thing left is to find a dead person. That could have been not filled out properly.
Wait, he's saying there was a dead person in the envelope? Rudy's about to have actual drops of sweat coming off of his brow. I mean, is this a normal amount? I don't know how hot it is in the room, but something seems very wrong here.
All be in the lawsuit that comes out tomorrow.
Rudy's melting.
Arizona is a state that we're looking at very, very carefully.
Strongly looking at it.
I would say we're probably, I assume, if she's working for the... I'd like to read them all to you, but I don't have the time. You should have had the time and energy to go look for them. That's your job. Like it's my job to defend the president.
Oh
and to
my
represent
God.
the president. It's Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada.
Is he bleeding? Did you see? Is he bleeding from his ear? What on earth was that?
Votes needed to
It's on both sides.
to find out if I'm misleading.
Is that hair dye?
Is to look at the lawsuits. In order to do it, I
It
have
looks
to get
like
permission
blood.
from people. But in the materials,
Oh my
I
God,
have
it's
here,
everywhere.
At least 10,000 at least. And we're getting more.
He's got to get off the stage.
And there are other aspects of this fraud. On the morning of November 3rd,
Someone's got to get him a
they
napkin.
were going to count this new kind of ballot.
God,
This
I've
mail-in
never seen
ballot.
anything like this. What on earth? It's getting onto his shirt
in
now.
Michigan and in Wisconsin, any jury would accept after they heard this evidence that somebody had this plan.
This is insane.
Maybe that was always the plan.
It looks like sap from an oak tree or a maple tree. It looks like someone's making syrup.
To Sydney describe that to you.
Oh my God, it's all over his face. He's gonna need a towel.
Dealing with
Actual evidence of
I don't know, guys. It's sounding like Trump won, isn't it, based on this?
testify.
If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump. Dump. Dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump. Dump. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump.
won.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Big massive dumps.
Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just
on another level, on another level.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump.
won.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump.
won.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Big massive dumps.
You turn the faucet on in areas where there's tremendous amounts of water, where the water rushes out to sea, because you could have people are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once. Quietly tripping.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump.
won.
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump. Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps.
what is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here?
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps.
I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host, an executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
There are males, most men today,
Yeah.
male, they think and act like a woman. They are emotional, they are mentally off, they have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Hold on, whoa, Jesse, we got to, that's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot,
They
hold on.
agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman.
Whoa, hold on a second. I was enjoying watching that, and all of a sudden it just turned off. That's got to be a complete and total accident, everybody. No, in all seriousness, we've got to get to it. We are 22 minutes away from the start of a White House press briefing. I am expecting extremely perverted and bizarre questions from Peter Doocy or Steve, whichever one shows up today. It will not be Jen Psaki. It will be Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. And if you've not seen Karine Jean-Pierre do a press briefing, she has a little bit of a different approach than Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki takes more of the sort of like annoyed mom approach with the trolling questions. Karine Jean-Pierre is a little bit more aggressive. So I think it's going to be quite a scene, and we're standing by for that. And we have many, many things to go over between now and then. Okay, so I'm glad that people are here for what is in all likelihood going to be the last stream of the calendar month known as July 2021. Where to even start? Jacob asking via Super Chat, do I expect Biden to take a hit because of the revised mask orders in the polling? Not really. No, not really. I want to mention right now, I want to do this at the top of the stream, even though I'll mention it again as more people join, just because I want to give you guys every opportunity to unlock a new achievement today on stream. I have 3. I teased this yesterday, and now I have them at my disposal. I have 3 heretofore unseen viewer phone calls that I think are some of the most compelling but also sad calls, which we are going to be releasing over the next couple of weeks. But I will preview all 3 for you today if we get to either, 1,000 Twitch subscribers, which is a couple boxes above my head. I've got boxes stacked on my head. Or 100 website members and Twitch subs. Okay, any combination, 1,000 Twitch or 100 website and Twitch. Okay, very good. The 3 phone calls are a 17-year-old who is desperate for me to help him get vaccinated because his parents won't let him. That's one call which we could look at today. Okay. Second call that we could look at today. Now you could wait a couple weeks and hear these, but you could also hear it today. A caller whose dad, anti-vax dad, died of COVID 2 weeks ago, and his mom will not get vaccinated. Okay, this is what we're up against. And then number 3, a caller who is so afraid of nuclear bombs that he won't leave his house, and I have to talk him into leaving his house. These are sad. These are sad, but they are interesting. These are heretofore unheard, better said. And we will drop all 3 of these on stream today. If we either get to 1,000 subscribers from the standpoint of Twitch, it's the last stream of the month, guys, or 100 website members and Twitch subs. Of course, the coupon code MyHIPAA, good until tomorrow. I do want to say thank you to Dr. Gonzo as well as Sarah is Cool for signing up via Twitch already, putting us at 2. Now, 2 out of 100, that's 2 divided by 10 is 0.20. 0 over 0 is 0. That's 2%. 2% of the way there. Couple other super chats. Will I ever do a segment about the Pegasus leaks? Maybe. BW Rock, what are your thoughts on the notes released today on Trump telling DOJ to say the election was illegal at the end of December? Yeah, I saw the New York Times headline. I have not read it yet. I will study it for the Monday show, and then I will have a report on that for everybody. Daniel asked David, will new mask mandates lead to more infringements on individual rights to commerce in the retail space? No, I don't think so. That's my HIPAA, guys. That's my HIPAA. You guys, you can't even ask that. That's not even allowed. You want to see something pretty sick? Congressman Paul Gosar, DDS, by the way, that's a dentist for you. He posted a picture of himself today wearing a For Ashley wristband. Now, Ashley Babbitt was one of the criminals who invaded the Capitol on January 6th. Paul Gosar is yeah. I mean, do I even need to say anything else? I think I don't. In terms of what's going on with the virus, USA #1. In fact, I tweeted about this earlier today. USA #1 for another day in a row. 92,000 new cases, surpassing Wednesday's 84,000. Nobody can beat us, guys. Look at these numbers. It is just insane, and we are very quickly getting right back into it. Now, the good, I will tell you the bad and the good. The good is that so far the increase to deaths is very, very low. Very, very low, and that's partially because of vaccination. But eventually this is going to bubble through. Okay? Now, next week, as people may know, I'm going to Spain. We're hoping Delta has peaked in Spain. And you can see there's a slight decline taking place. And that's the hope. And of course, these numbers reflect people infected 8 days ago. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I am going to be self-schwabbing in Spain. I got a, let me see, Points Guy travel COVID test. I ordered some tests. Doctors looked at these and they said, I'm likely to do really, really well with these tests. 35 each complete. I think this is the one I got. Yeah, I got these tests. So basically, I bought a test and it comes with like an observation where somebody's going to watch me take the test. And then if I do well, maybe I'll get into college. If I don't, I might not. But that's good. That's what I'm doing from the standpoint of testing. I want to say thank you to Maria Pete as well as Maria Pete for gifting 5 subs. Also, Salix, Dank Neckbeard, Joseph Rader, Jen here, P.T. Tear Parker, Ninjin 33er. Oh my God. Okay, that's 8. That's 9. That puts us at 11. Also, a big thank you to Daniel Peterson, who just signed up on my website, joinpakman.com. That's number 12. I have made the offer that I will release 3 really compelling phone calls on stream if we get to either 1,000 Twitch subscribers or 100 website members and Twitch subscribers. All right. So we continue to stand by for Karine Jean-Pierre. People saying something looks a little different today. Yeah, I shaved yesterday. I never bring shaving elements on trips. So I just did a full shave with a German safety razor, really strong razor. Pulled out a new one, in fact. I basically pull out a new razor every other shave. Is that crazy? So that's why I look different today, if people are wondering. Other super chats. Super chats are just dumping in here. Amazing stream from the standpoint of powerfulness.
Sir.
David, will America ever have proportional representation, or will the Republican Party and Democrats rule America for the rest of history? No, nobody. Who can say forever? Who can say forever? Here's a chat question. What fiction am I reading right now? I'll show you right now. I am reading these two books. First book I'm currently reading from the standpoint of fiction is David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest. Very, very strong book. And also reading Consider, I think it's pronounced Phlebas, by Ian Banks. This is the first of the Culture series. The book's actually from 1987. I was only 40 years old back in 87. And it's very good. It's sort of like an introduction to the whole series. From what I've been told, people came to me. They said, "Sir, the first one is more of like a context for the future of that series." I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it very much. Atheist Linguist says, what's sick is that if I understand correctly, we've been reduced to literally paying people to get vaccinated. Yeah, Joe Biden, New York City's paying people $100, and Joe Biden is encouraging everybody to pay $100. And I mean, look at what's going on. Eric Topol posted this. This is Louisiana. It's gone vertical. Look at that. They've gone from about 8 cases per 100,000 to 82 cases per 100,000. This is brutal. This is absolutely insane. If this were Bitcoin, I'd be going crazy. I would burn the studio down and retire if this was a chart of Bitcoin. Sadly, it's Louisiana COVID cases. And that's, I mean, listen, we know why we're in this problem, right?
And then I see the disinfectant. Is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside? Or
yeah.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, very powerful light, apply light and heat to cure. Supposing you brought the light inside the body. Donate plasma. Donate plasma today, convalescent plasma. Donate plasma. Convalescent plasma. Donate plasma today, please.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what's going on. Here is a Newsmax guest saying children will contract foot and mouth disease if they wear a mask.
You talk about the younger generation. Jesse Jane, I think about the kids who are headed back to the classroom in the fall. Now they're being told that you've got to mask up. Whether or not your teacher has or has not been vaccinated, they also have to wear a mask. How is that going to impact these kids and their learning this year?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a child psychologist, but I'm sure that it's detrimental to many children to have to be on the
What is your area of expertise?
Ground with masks on. We all know by the time they come home, it's probably filthy and dirty. If anything, the mask is going to give them something else, probably foot and mouth disease. I mean, think about all the germs.
There's no evidence of that whatsoever. Has anybody in the chat heard of a single kid getting foot and mouth disease from a mask over the last 18 months of the pandemic? Anybody? Anybody? Nobody has? Okay. I mean, listen, this is a retired Marine, so maybe is that her area of expertise?
They're getting on these masks. You're not keeping them sanitary. And when you've had less than 300 children die from COVID compared to that of the flu rates that we've seen in previous years, is this really effective? If the teachers aren't comfortable, put the mask on. But don't shut those schools down. There are many children.
Who's even talking about shutting a school down? Does anybody know what she's referring to there? I don't even know what that's about. So that's a Marine talking about foot and mouth disease. Recordatron asked David, have you managed to get access to Vouch's routers to get the oranges of the Giga Cringe scandal? Not yet. I'm looking for the routers. I tested positive for the virus yesterday during my routine testing. Breakthrough in Massachusetts. Very mild symptom. Not sure of Delta yet. Almost certainly Delta. Yeah, I mean, I think we're more than 90% Delta in the U.S. now. They need to lock up non-vaxxers until they comply. Yeah, that's crazy. That's not going to happen. Cephahide. What was the context? Yeah, that's a classic.
Cephahide.
That was Trump listing companies that were involved in elements of medical. SpaceX's autonomous spaceport drone ships for rocket landings are named based on the Ian Banks novels. I did not know that. Biden bribing U.S. citizens in a quid pro quo scheme in order to defeat COVID. Yeah, that's the headline we would expect to see in a lot of places. Okay, guys, we have a challenge today because it is the last live stream of the month. I have 3 phone calls. One from a kid who won't leave his house because he's scared of nuclear bombing, and I convince him to go for a walk. That's an interesting call. A 17-year-old who's trying to get vaccinated and his parents won't let him. And very tragically, a viewer whose dad died of COVID and his mom still won't get vaccinated. I will play these for you today. If we either get to 1,000 Twitch subscribers, we're 134 away, or between the website and Twitch, 100 people sign up. And you can use the coupon code MyHIPAA. That code dies tomorrow night, okay? It'll be deader than Trump's chances at reinstatement tomorrow night. You can sign up at joinpakman.com with the code MyHIPAA. These are very solid, very, very solid phone calls, okay? Let's do a couple of unban requests. I do have my gavel here. When people inevitably say things on Twitch and YouTube that are inappropriate, we ban them, and we ban them fully and completely. On Twitch, you're allowed to appeal that ban. And sometimes I will overturn a ban if the reason for overturning is relevant. Let's go. Oh, hold on. And I forgot. Thank you for 10 gifted subs to an anonymous gifter. Thanks to Death Doves, Sonia Britiz, Jen here for gifting 2 and then 2 more. And then Mogwai for signing up. That's 17, putting us at 29. Also, thanks to Dinan Cleo, number 30. So we are getting there. Okay. User Brian 2 Blazed showed up yesterday for the first time, followed on Twitch. Within 5 seconds, posted, "I will die before I put a mask back on." They were banned. Their unban request is, "What a loser of a mod did this. I hope your whole family gets the virus." That is a very, very easy permaban, making it very, very simple today for this court to make decisions. Next unban request is, that actually moved my mic down. Yeah, wow, look at that. We got to keep that mic up. Okay. Next user goes by the name Affinity. They showed up and they said, hold on a second. "Critiquing mRNA is not anti-vax. It's not a vaccine. It's gene therapy. Do you know what mRNA is? Do some research then and then STFU. The goal of mRNA is to alter your genome." That's the best. They wanted to say genome, and they said instead that it alters your genome. That's a different problem altogether. Fetal tissue also used to create vaccines. They were then banned for endless anti-vax propaganda. Their unban request is, "I don't know why I was banned. Please unban." Unfortunately, if you don't understand why talking about mRNA altering the genome is not okay, you are permabanned. There is no place here for you. All right. So that is today from the standpoint of unban requests. That's a pretty good unbanned segment, actually. Those are interesting. John, if you're watching or if you review this later, let's clip it and ship it, my friends. So 2 very easy permabans right there. I also want to say thank you to, Mark Glander, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code MyHIPAA. You are new member number 31. Tiger40, as well as Crowbars Forever, and an anonymous gifter, adding 3 more subscriptions via Twitch Prime, putting us at 34. We have Gmone altering phone calls to play if we do get to 100 in the lower bar or 1,000 up above my head. Other super chats coming in. I subscribed to your YouTube just before you started the subscriber challenge. Keep up the good work. You know, guys, we have recently seen a big burst of new YouTube subscribers. I don't know where it's coming from, but we're up to like 700-800 a day. We were down to like 300 a day, and we're getting very, very close to 1.4 million. I don't know what the explanation is. Just the last week, there's been really a pop. And that's been a great thing. Highly recommend Excuse me. Should take a sip of water. Highly recommend Dr. Malka Older's Sentinel Cycle for your fiction reading. She's also a humanitarian worker, disaster response researcher. Yeah, I think she follows me on Twitter. Infomocracy is a Malka Older book that I read. Very good book. Infomocracy. Will you please look up the word? I don't know about that. I don't know what I'm looking up. Pride in having a conscientiously ignorant or closed-minded way of thinking. Sort of seems to overlap with Dunning-Kruger, maybe. Sometimes you appeal bans if YouTube lets you. I didn't know. No more mask mandates. Vaccinated are protected. It's not quite so simple. We are going to remove that one. I just can't have that. The reality is much more complicated than that, so I'm going to have to remove that. I want to say thank you to Lamar Moore for signing up at joinpakman.com with the coupon code MyHIPAA. You are number 35 today. Also want to say thank you to Miles Cornish, Paco Taco, or Paco Taco, however you pronounce it, for signing up via Twitch Prime. Also thanks to Death Doves for subscription number 38. And Lisa, is it Lisa Ride? Lisa Ridge? Who signed up on my website with the coupon code MyHIPAA. You are number 39. Speaking of HIPAA, here is Alan Dershowitz saying on Fox News that it would be perfectly legal to mandate vaccination. And Laura Ingraham doesn't like it.
How infectious this is, how many people it kills. This is not smallpox. So this is not.
Today, literally, the CDC released something saying that the Delta variant is as contagious as smallpox. So that's interesting.
It's not a fully approved vaccine either.
Neither was the smallpox vaccine in 1905.
Correct.
I think COVID is worse than smallpox in many ways. It may not kill as many people, but we don't know what the long-term impact is.
If Alan Dershowitz is the voice of reason, guys.
300 million people worldwide. 300 million people.
I have a right.
Oh, they said chicken pox. Sorry, guys. That's a mistake. I said, let me take that back. The CDC has documents that say Delta is as contagious as chicken pox. I apologize for that. Not smallpox. I made a mistake.
No, I have the right to get on an airplane and know that everybody on that airplane is vaccinated or tested. You may have the right not to get vaccinated, but you have no right to spread the disease to me, even if you won't kill me.
Professor, have you not been listening?
I don't want long-term impact.
This is Harvard Law School,
but
okay?
I don't believe you.
I didn't go to Harvard Law School, but I did hear.
Why does it matter whether she went to Harvard Law? I mean, it's such a stupid thing to say.
I did hear the president today talk about how if you're vaccinated, you spread the virus. You still can spread the virus.
True.
I mean, the data out of Israel, the data out of the UK, they're freaking out about this.
It'll be spread much less seriously. Look, we don't.
What does she keep looking at up and to the left? Did you see that? How many times she looked up and to the left?
It'll be spread much less seriously.
3.
Look, we don't know what we don't know.
Okay,
Nobody
you can deprive people of their constitutional rights on the basis of a vaccine that still allows the spread of a virus.
There is
What's
no
up there?
constitutional right to get on an airplane and to spread the disease to me, even if it's not going to be fatal.
Okay. All right.
I have constitutional rights.
We gotta go. We gotta work against the hard break.
Whoa, we're up against a hard break. Yeah, so there is that. Let's see here. Ron DeSantis makes me want to move out of Florida. Amit Serper says, David, sir, I've noticed a severe downward trend in the amount of times you're saying David, sir. Please resume doing it since it demonstrates the tremendous urgency of things. Well, Swami Live says, David, sir, would you be willing to give us a video tour of your studio one day? Maybe. I think we'd have to get to, some really strong number of subscribers, but we may get there today. Jamie Lewis just signed up with the code MyHIPAA. And Aaron Washington just signed up on my website with the code MyHIPAA, putting us at 41. Also want to say thank you to Somnium is Dreaming for the Twitch Prime sub number 42. If you're just joining us, we have 3 new phone calls that will not be released publicly for about 10 to 14 days in total, which I will play for you today. These are wild phone calls, some of the wildest phone calls. The goal is either 1,000 Twitch subscribers. We're 112 away. One person could dump in 112 gifted subs right now and we could be there. Or 100 website members and new Twitch subscribers. And these, I think people are going to want to hear these phone calls. I think these might go terra-viral at some point. Speaking of voicemails, let's just listen to a couple of voicemails.
David, sir, do you think that Trump could be referring to the 1917 flu because he saw the movie 1917, which was a great movie, by the way?
Well.
Maybe he couldn't.
I think Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. I think Trump said it wrong once and then just keeps repeating it. That's basically it. Couple other super chats here.
Yeah, David, Paul in Pennsylvania here. Hey, none of these politicians or, conservative media hosts have had a come to Jesus moment. What's happening, I think, is they're getting pressure from their, the corporations and the mega billionaires that fund their campaigns. Because as long as this COVID hangs around, these mega billionaires and corporations cannot achieve 100% profitability. Right now, the economy, is kind of sputtering along. A lot of people are still out of work and everything. So, they're not making, they might be making 50% profitability instead of 100%. And they're getting tired of it because, like I said, as long as this COVID hangs around, it's cutting into their profits.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah, so that's an interesting perspective. I want to say thanks to Big Shonker as well as Bleep and Seller Sab for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 45. Also, our friend Lars Barenroth from the Deeper Shades of House channel, gifting 5 subs, super strong there by Lars, putting us right at 50, which is 50 out of 100. That's roughly half. Whitney says, I don't know how to find your Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/David Pakman. Or just search David Pakman on Twitch. Thanks also to Headless Chicken for the Twitch Prime subscription. Couple of other things to look at. Here is more video from this thing yesterday where Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Louis Gohmert, and Paul Gosar tried to get into a prison where the terrorists are incarcerated, and they weren't allowed in, and it's just a shit show.
It's just a moment ago. They told us that we were trespassing, but when I went to the detention center in California, ICE and U.S. Marshals were...
Is that even a Georgia thing, reversing all of the vowels? She says, when I went, rather than when I went.
Wonderful. They gave us a full tour, and it was a beautiful, clean facility. And I thought, wow, America is the most generous country in the world, and how we treat people that have broken laws to come in our country.
And normally, we go somewhere that's
Sir,
federal. We show our
supervisor?
ID, our congressional ID, 435.
This is so stupid.
I think we're waiting to speak to the supervisor.
Mr. Gaetz.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unusual for members of Congress to...
Anyway, it's just like, what are these people? Who even cares what they say? Here's another one. Gohmert tries to argue he has a top secret clearance.
Members of Congress, we have oversight over federal prisons. We've got members of judiciary here, members of oversight here, both committees that oversee facilities like this. We absolutely are not trespassing, and if that attitude is any indication of how they're treating their prisoners inside, I have great concern.
Well, if they can consider us trespassers that fund this facility, have top secret clearance, and I know there are some, that have...
Yes, sir. Put it on your camera. Say again.
What on earth is going on? Here's a little more Gohmert.
Federal facilities were mistreating, abusing people that have been arrested on January 6th, having been to Guantanamo more than once. I know that the people there, just from what little we saw from the outside, they're being treated worse there than the bloodthirsty terrorists at Guantanamo.
Man, this guy is completely out of his mind. That is something else. Wow. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. I've got a couple other, I've got super chats. David Sir, happy Friday. Thank you. Can we get LeVar Burton as a guest host of the David Pakman Show while you're on vacation? I would love that. Sell him a get out of ban free card. Trump asked DOJ to declare election results corrupt. Yeah, we're going to talk about that Monday. I have not yet reviewed all of that. I want to say thank you to Bravo Needs Bacon for the Twitch Prime sub. Also thanks to Cacao Juniper, Jeff Moffitt, and an anonymous gifter, putting us at 55. We may do it, guys. It's actually conceivable that we do it. Let's listen to a couple of other voicemails.
Hi, David. Sir, I just listened to your bit on how to convince Republicans to get vaccinated.
This guy running?
The idea of using reverse psychology is intriguing. I actually think it would work on a lot of the Republicans, just despite the libs and own the libs.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea for the left to say, hey, don't tell your Republican friends where to get vaccinated. We want to keep all the vaccines for us. Don't let them get vaccinated. It's like it's like sandbox reverse psychology, but I think it actually would work on some of them. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Hola, David. ¿Cómo estamos? Mi pregunta es, ¿tú crees que Joe Biden se está portando bien con los republicanos? Porque él sabe que los republicanos van a ganar la Casa de Representantes y el Senado en 2022.
Okay, so the question is whether I think that Joe Biden is being nicer to Republicans than he other might be because he knows that they're going to win in 2022 and he's going to need them. Yeah, I don't know. Not really. I mean, it's conceivable, but I have no reason to think that that's what he's doing. We've got a couple of other super chats here. See what's going on. Voicemail.
Hey, David. You keep saying that we should make ourselves avail ourselves of the membership special on August 16th. Well, I'm thinking, shouldn't it be avail ourselves to the membership special?
No. The phrase is to avail of, and it means to take advantage of an opportunity. Avail oneself of. That's the right phraseology. I mean, listen, I certainly could be wrong. English is my second language. But the phrase, the idiom, is to avail oneself of. It just means to take advantage of something. All right. So that was proper usage. I appreciate the concern, but it's completely proper, fully proper.
Hello. Good morning. You're East Coast. I think I'm West Coast. Oh, it's afternoon. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, Mr. David. Hey, your title of your YouTube is Demented Trump Speech Horrifies World, Scares Children. Well, it scares adults too. I'd be one of them. But I want to thank you. As serious as you are, I know that you give your commentary. Hope it seems unbiased. You just want the facts and truth. But you're funny, and you don't hardly crack the smile. But I appreciate the honesty, which becomes humor. And I'm in my 60s, and I'm just amazed at human behavior. And so if they act like this, what else do they do in their private world? Okay, have a good day. Peace.
Congratulations, sir. You just won the election.
I like that caller. That's a solid caller. Yep, definitely like her. I want to say thank you to Fabian Bjorklund. Fabian Bjorklund is new member number 56. Fabian did something borderline illegal and just signed up on my website with the coupon code MyHIPAA. Also want to say thank you to Cosmos, an anonymous gifter, the JK Trolling for the 3 Twitch subs, putting us at 59. Guys, let's do it. Let's get to 100. I have 3 incredibly compelling phone calls that I will release for you today. If we get to either 1,000 Twitch subs, we're only 94 away, or we filled this bar to 100 with website memberships. Also, thanks to Dranoa, who just gifted a sub. That's number 60. Couple other videos for people. Here is Marjorie Green Taylor, or Marjorie Taylor Gangrene, call her what you will. She's mad about something Nancy Pelosi did.
Listen, I don't think she could, she can. I don't think she has the authority to make cops do that. I don't think cops have the authority to arrest anybody.
No.
Yeah.
No, and that's Barry Loudermilk. His district is next to mine in Georgia, so great colleague of mine in Georgia. That's a great video. I absolutely love it. But no, this is actually abuse of the Capitol Police. Nancy Pelosi abuses the Capitol Police. She did not protect them. She didn't bring the National Guard in on January 6th. And
yeah, that was Trump, actually, Marjorie. Man, the revisionist history is just crazy. I find her vile. Vile.
The Capitol Police were left out there to defend the Capitol in some very violent situations.
So she's pretending like she supports the police, but where was she when those 4 officers testified on Tuesday?
And then also here she is making the Capitol Police arrest people for not wearing a piece of paper on their face or like a jock strap or something. It's insane.
Yeah. Marjorie Traitorous Green. I think that may be the name for her. Marjorie Traitorous Green. Jessica Cartier just wanted to chime in to thank you, David, for keeping it real 100. Thank you. Could you imagine if the 1-6 terrorists were treated like Gitmo detainees, transported on a stretcher, waterboarding, isolation for years? Let me speak to the manager of the federal prisons. Yeah, it was a real let me speak to the manager moment. Notice how they call them political prisoners. I did notice that, yeah. The name is Margarine, a.k.a. I can't believe it's not butter, Trailer Queen. Be respectful, sir. Margarine Trailer Queen. Jeez. That's maybe a little too edgy for me. I do want to say thank you to Matt102102 as well as Margot Cabot, Tora Chinchilla as well. Numbers 61, 62, and 63 today from the standpoint of Twitch. Let's listen to a few more voicemails and see what's going on.
Hi, David. My name is Matthew. I'm calling from San Diego. Just have a couple of comments I would like to share with you. Hope they're not too long. If you and I were to see an adult playing with matches, you and I tell this adult, don't play with matches and you'll get burned, and this adult burns himself, I don't know about you, but I would have very little sympathy. Scenario number 2. You and I observe an adult playing with a gun. Again, being the logical and sensitive people you and I are.
So this goes on for 3 minutes. So I'm bailing out. Sounds like a very, very nice guy, but it's just not working. It's just not working exactly super well. Okay.
Hey, Pakman. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that you're stealing R.M. Brown's shtick with the soundboards.
I don't know what that is.
And now with the I mean, first it's the majority report set, and now R.M. Brown.
Is he saying Arun Brown or R.M. Brown? What is he saying? Is it Arun, like the Indian name, Arun Brown? God, I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. Nobody knows. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay.
Hey, buddy. I've been watching for a bit. Pretty sweet, from Wisconsin. 41 years of age, male. So I was watching your video, Demented Trump Speech Horrifies the World. And I was watching what you played. I didn't watch his stuff specifically. I kind of get his stuff from you. But I was watching about the router bit. Yeah, I mean, I can see potentially that there might be a hardware issue within a router to intercept something and potentially change something. That is more plausible.
A router could intercept something and change something. But how does that suggest that Joe Biden really lost? That's the question.
And the fibers, you know what I mean, coming from China or changing actual mail-in ballots. That's going to be more plausible than intercepting mail-in ballots that have been forged somehow.
All right. Anyway, guys, none of this stuff happened, so I don't even know what we're talking about, really. Okay. Well, let's see a couple others. Oh, hold on. First, I have to. People are just dumping in huge memberships here, and I've got to make sure I thank them.
They call them dumps.
Rolf Best just signed up on my website. Kathleen Sibley just signed up. Victoria Matthews is a new member. That puts us at 66. Also just dropping in, Yumi O'Connell is number 67, putting us at 2/3 of the way. Millie Girl just gifted 5 Twitch subs. Bitter Britters signed up. Im Scruss, as well as Singha the Great. Ninja Lass. Adam David Lee. And Millie Girl with a personal subscription is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, putting us, guys, we might do it. We're at 78. We might do it. And it looks like there's 5 people now on the website in progress in the sign up. Oh, no, well, hold on. 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 people somewhere in the sign up process on the website. We may actually do this. It's pretty obvious you're stealing Orson Welles' shtick by doing an audio broadcast. Exactly. Well said, Denver. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's exactly what I'm doing. Let's listen to a couple. Ooh, the Eggman's doing something that I think is in poor taste. Listen to this.
Beep. Beep. Hey, Dave. This is Phil Valentine. I'm calling from the ventilator. I own you, libs.
Nah, I don't like that. Phil Valentine's the anti-vax pro-Trump right-winger who now is on a ventilator. It's not good. It's not good. And then the Eggman called back in, I guess, with like a real message.
Hi, Dave. Dave, I have massive empathy for sick people, dying people. I have empathy for stupid, ignorant people, okay? But when you mix the two together with hateful anti-Semitism and racism and extreme partisanism, is that a word? That's where I lose my empathy, okay? Why? I don't feel bad for somebody that's dying because they're specifically hateful and don't believe something because of their reasons against Democrats, minorities, liberals, whatever it is. It's their own fault. Now, Dave, I don't want people to die. I want Phil Valentine to live because he said he's going to preach about getting vaccinated.
Right.
But I know plenty of people that got sick from COVID that got better, and now they say you don't have to get vaccinated because they survived it. So I don't really give a shit about these people. I really don't care. He could live because he's going to help other people. But, Dave, again, your empathy for horrible people makes you and Democrats and liberals weak. That's why Trump is going to win probably again.
People are going to win because I feel bad for people dying of COVID. Then he called back about Simone Biles.
If Simone Biles was white, Charlie Kirk and the insane right would not be criticizing her, calling her horrible names for backing out because of mental health issues and supporting her team. Only because of her color. Shalom.
Shalom. Wow. Super aggressive. And then he called back in again.
Hey, Dave. Pastor Rick Wiles says his church had an explosion of COVID cases, and he blames them on a vaccinated person giving it to them.
True.
That's absolutely not factual. Donald Trump's endorsed candidate in Texas lost, and then Donald Trump claims a victory for endorsing the wrong person. That's absolutely also anti-factual. I want to ask you, Dave, with Republicans literally believing things that aren't facts, they believe the opposite of facts. Do you think what you're doing or what anyone is doing in government is progressing society? Like, should we just give up? Because facts don't matter. So when you state facts, it just gets people on the other side more angry with you. Should we just shut up and let them learn from their own mistakes and just go the direction the horse?
Oh man! Oh, well, but that's basically just ceding the ground to them. And I don't think I'm not ready to admit we lost. Let me just put it that way. I'm not ready to admit we lost. Deborah DeJong says, David, I found an RM Brown on Reddit. He loves you. Okay, great. That's fantastic. I don't know much about it. It's fantastic though. Manuel Sanchez has just signed up at joinpakman.com and is new member number 79 today. Guys, we're getting very close. I'm getting excited. Small Fuzzy Moss just gifted 5 subs. And then Fish Pickles signed up, which is 6. That's 85. Franco the 11th just signed up, and that's number 86. We're getting there. We're getting there. We really are. A couple of other super chats. Uh-oh.
I wanted to talk about gay rights because I kind of understand like having respect for men and you know, if they want to have like man club or whatever and you know, do private things with each other, then it's like I feel like it's none of my business. But like when it comes to like women, like I'd obviously rather have a man because I think women are like worse than men in like a male chauvinist kind of way, where it's like I think that they're the ones that taught men that it's okay to treat other women that way because that's the way that they would act. And I'm like,
what is she talking about?
I'm sorry, but like woman to woman, like you're different than a man. You get your period, like you get way different emotions than men, have way different hormones. And it's like, you know, like I just don't want to give rights to people because it's like that takes away my rights as a human being.
Wow. I don't know what she's talking about.
I think like some people hail the god of trash because I'm like listening to some of these like Muslim people, Jewish people, Christian people, and I'm like, if you didn't tell me who your God was, I would probably name him trash.
Wow. Man, I really don't know what she's talking about.
Hey, Pakman. How many times are you going to talk about someone catching COVID?
Oh, this is Troy York now.
Someone who mocked and denied it and say how caught COVID. Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro are mocking that. They're saying that we're being forced through the media to hear.
Is he eating while he calls?
These stupid stories about COVID deniers getting sick and dying. And I noticed that you too.
I think he must be eating a bag of mangoes.
Have produced programs such as this. Hey, Pakman. How many people have died through the vaccines? Why are you reporting this?
No. Okay.
Hi, David. Love your show. Have a question. I'm not well versed in politics, but I have a question regarding to the recent books that got published about Trump. The inside of
I just can't do it. I can't do that, guys. It's just too ridiculous. I want to say thank you to Arith Terlitzi for just signing up at joinpakman.com with the coupon code MyHIPAA, putting us at 87. I also want to say, oh no, that's it. We are really close to unlocking these 3 viewer calls. We are only 69 Twitch subscribers away from 1,000, or we are 13 website members away from 100. Really wild stuff. Oh, people want to hear. Oh, yeah. There's a new Mango track. So let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can give you the genesis of the full Mango thing. Pakman Mango. Okay, so it came from this, and then now we have a song about it.
I love mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes up under Trump cost me $8.
I love mangoes too.
99 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
And the American people blind. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down.
That's right. Right about that.
The Wisconsin crowd not identifying with the mango material.
Disproportionately affected. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't you want me to be healthy? Don't you?
Okay, so then that turned into Jethro Bradley making this song for us.
My bag of mangoes up under Trump cost me $8.
I love mangoes too.
99 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under Biden's regime, My bag of mangoes now costs $11.99. My bag of mangoes, my bag.
Right.
My bag of mangoes, my bag. That's right. My bag of mangoes, my bag. My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down.
Baby girl. Everything you're doing is
That
wrong.
seems like a pretty good deal. Aren't mangoes like $3 each?
Baby girl. Beta mount.
Bag of mangoes?
Highway robbery.
Bag of mangoes?
That's right.
Bag of mangoes?
Highway robbery.
Bag of mangoes?
That's right.
Okay, anyway, I think you guys get the point. So that's the mango arc, so to speak. Thanks to Jethro Bradley. We very much appreciate that. That's a really nicely done song. I also want to say thank you to Guitar Goddess, who just gifted 10 subs, putting us at 97. We are really close. And Adam Matano putting us at 98. Guys, number 100 gets a free item from my online store. Join Pakman.com, coupon code MyHIPAA, save 70%. I will send you a free item. The only places we can't ship to, I think, are North Korea, some places in the Middle East where it's just a little complicated from the standpoint of mail. Anywhere that we can ship to, we will ship to. Okay, free item for new member number 100. Join Pakman.com. It's happening right now. Let's do it. Few other super chats. RM Brown is a small YouTube channel that punches above its weight in terms of guests. Contributors include Slavoj Zizek and Glenn Shapiro. Okay. DOJ says Trump taxes must be shared with House committee. Love it. Mr. David, sir, my wife and I are now fully vaccinated, in part thanks to you, sir. Also love the soundboard. Thank you, Giovanni. Abe says, I would love to know your thoughts on the idea of Paul Ryan making a comeback to lead a third center-right party. I see it as the only salvation for the GOP. I don't think Paul Ryan could do it as a third party. I think the question is, can Paul Ryan take the Republican Party back from Trump? I think that's the question. David, they don't want to learn because they don't care. So why teach them what we now is fact about Koivd? Yes. Sir, realistically, how close is the U.S. to losing democracy? It's already sort of not really a democracy in the sense that not everybody's vote counts evenly. The things rich people and corporations want are much more likely to be made policy. So it's already kind of not a democracy in that sense. Okay. I want to say thank you to Zachary Jenkins, who just signed up on my website and is new member number 99. Guys, number 100 gets a free item from the online store. This is crazy what's happening here. As we stand by for a press briefing from Karine Jean-Pierre, who's the deputy press secretary, who is going to be 100? Who is going to be? It's a crazy thing. Oh, and in the meantime, by the way.
So what I was noticing, that looking at a map, I was looking at like all the sexism and then the obesity levels and then the places where there's like more German people and where there's more English people.
Right.
And what I noticed was that the places where there's like German people, it's like more diversified, but it's not like extreme sexism and it's not extreme obesity. And then in the places where there's more English people, there's like extreme sexism. And like the one place where there's like absolutely no Germans is like the place where there's like extreme obesity. But I just feel like that should count for something because.
Oh, it counts for something. All right.
Health is important and obesity kills a lot of people.
I don't know, guys. A lot of that is not making sense. All right. New member number 100 is Brendan King. Brendan King just signed up at joinpakman.com and is new member number 100. We did it, folks. Brendan, if you want a free item from my online store, get in touch, info@davidpakman.com. Also want to say thanks to Colin Morris, new member 101. And look at what is happening on Twitch. I want to say thanks to Miles Cornish, Fractured Psycho, TR Napsta, MS Unlikely Gamer, an anonymous gifter. Franco just gifted 5 subs. Richie TLV is number 10. Decimator is 11. Jen gifted 5. That's 16. An anonymous 17th gift. Nate Senyo signed up is 18. Under the Screen gifted 2. That's 20. Mary E is 21. That is 122. This is an explosion. Also, thanks to Michael Mata for signing up with the coupon code MyHIPAA, number 123. I promised it, guys. Let's look at one of these calls. Oh, and Damon Harvey also signing up with the coupon code MyHIPAA, number 124. This is a record day. All right, let's look at the first one, okay? This is the first caller. This has not been published yet. These are really serious phone calls, okay? Let's listen to the first one. These will come out over the next couple weeks. Why don't we go next to Vincent from Los Angeles? What's going on in LA these days, Vincent?
Nothing much. I haven't been outside in a while, personally.
Right. It's good to get some of that vitamin D, you know?
Yeah.
This gets sad.
I wanted to call in and ask, basically, like, I listen to your show a lot, and it's an honor to speak to you.
Pleasure.
And a lot of things outside is really, like, I don't know, listening to a lot of what's going on with the sort of purging of the Republican Party and gets me, and, you know, what's going on with climate and COVID gets me really nervous. So I was wondering if you could maybe talk about things that have been going on that might give you, like, hope as to, you know, things getting better in the world.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like what might be useful for you and maybe others is sign up for a good news newsletter. There are a lot of these which just tell you about good things that have gone on. You look at how long are people living on average after being diagnosed with all types of cancer. Survivability has gone up. You look at, you know, you can find positive things that are going on. Look at the continued increased efficiency of solar panels, for example, or look at the way in which many countries have shifted more and more towards alternative energy. You can definitely find that stuff, but it's also a reality that there's a lot of really bad things going on right now. I think it's important to kind of see both, you know?
Yeah.
Now I'm curious, when you say you're not going out because you're depressed about all these things that are going on and you're just staying home, right? Are the two things you mentioned, they're separate issues?
To some extent.
To some extent. Oh, are you like kind of depressed and just not leaving your house?
Just dealing with some social anxiety. I don't know, like one of the greatest things that's caused me fear is like in particular, like the fear of nuclear, you know, weaponry around the world.
And that's making you stay home in some sense?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much I want to talk about it, but yeah.
Wow. I mean, on a very practical level, do you think you're safer from nuclear fallout at home rather than, you know, down the street at a cafe? Because it seems either way, if there's nuclear fallout, you just might be screwed. I don't know. I don't know that I would worry that much about it in that way.
That's a very good point.
I guess I'm just thinking, like, if there's a nuke that's going to be dropped, I'd almost rather be at the basketball court or at the pond rather than in my house, because either way it's going to be bad and I have no control over it. That's my thought, you know?
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah. Try to get out there. Maybe take a 10-minute walk today, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think I'll go ahead and do that now. And I'll take a look at some of the things you mentioned as to positive signs
Let's
of
do it.
change in the
Let's
world.
do it. And I want to hear from you again, okay? Let me know how it goes.
Okay, thank you very much. Great talking to you.
We got to, so that's depressing. Get out there. That's sad. That makes me sad. We really, you know, staying at home in order to avoid the bomb. I mean, I'd rather be having a cappuccino, you know? I think that's the situation for me. Yep. All right. So there's one. Listen, guys, if anything, when I make a promise, I deliver it. Okay. So I've delivered one of the three. I do want to say thank you to Aaron Breed for signing up on my website with the code MyHIPAA. Also Matthew Bryan, numbers 125 and 126. Thanks to Kristalina for the 5-month resub on Twitch. The Master Debater just gifted 2 subs as well. That puts us at 129. This is a record for months. We haven't had anything close to this for months. We're standing by for the press briefing. You've not missed the press briefing, but we are looking at some other calls that I got, and some of these aren't great, unfortunately. Here's another one. Okay, this is tough stuff. We have folks not only from all over the country, but quite frankly from all over the world who are hoping to chat with me today. I'm going to do my best to speak to at least a few of them. Let's speak next to Gabriel from Colorado. Gabriel, you're on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Listen to this.
Okay. So this is not so much a question, but I do think it is important for people to hear. About a month ago, let's say a month and a half ago, my father, who is a very loyal Fox News viewer, Tucker Carlson fan, contracted COVID-19 and 61, healthy, active. It's 2 weeks and he passed away in his bed. So I just thought.
Oh my God, Gabriel! I'm so sorry to hear that, Gabriel. That's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, thank you. So it's been a little rough, but I want to at least take the opportunity to make a lesson out of it, a story for people to hear, to understand it. I mean, it can hit close and it can hit anybody. You may think, your family members may think that they are safe.
Yep.
Because he thought he was safe because he took, supplements and he exercised and it just took him out.
Wow. Has everybody else seen it as a wake-up call if people were unvaccinated to get vaccinated?
As far as I can tell, at least within the family, for the most part, people are understanding the severity of this.
Yeah.
My mom, she tested positive for antibodies, and she's they were separated, but she's similarly in the same sort of vaccine skeptic perspective. So she's not getting vaccinated, but at least she has antibodies from a previous infection.
So your mom is aware that your dad died of this, and she still doesn't want to get vaccinated.
Yes, she
Wow.
actually sends me a lot of these like ADW sort of these like.
Can you imagine?
About this, this health expert speaks out against the whatever and whatnot about how terribly dangerous the COVID vaccines are.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Horrifying. Horrifying. And then here's the last one. Here's a 17-year-old wants to get vaccinated. Parents won't let him. Okay, let's hear from a few more people in the audience, people like you. You can talk to me through the David Pakman Show Discord, which you can find at davidpakman.com/Discord. Let's go next to Adam from Philadelphia. Adam, you're on the air.
Hey, I just wanted to say thanks, but can you hear me loud and clear though?
Yes, I can.
With Republican parents like mine who are completely against the vaccine and COVID and all, and for someone who, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
They are not letting me take it at all, and I'm only 17, and my mom's reasons are not political, I know that, but my dad's are. They are Fox viewers every now and then. They are complete Republicans and all. They don't trust the science and all that. But what is your message to those teenagers out there who are not allowed to get the vaccine?
So to be clear, you're saying your parents won't allow you to get the vaccine. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. The first thing is, in some states, you don't need your parents to allow you to get it when you're 17. Have you first explored what the law is in your state?
No, I have not.
Okay, so the first thing to know is, in many states, when you're 17, you can just go and get the vaccine. You don't need your parents to do anything. So if you were to decide that that's something you want to do, if it's legal, you could investigate whether that's a possibility. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Second part is, how far from being 18 are you?
6 months.
Okay.
5 months.
So at the most in 5 months, you can get the vaccine, right? I mean, no matter what, even if you can't get it today because of you need parental permission, in 5 months, you can get it. So what I would say is wear a mask and be careful until that time. I mean, you know your parents better than I do. It sounds like it's a lost cause trying to convince them, right? Like you're not going to be able to convince them.
My mom, she's actually more like afraid of it, I should say. Like, I think that's what we need to understand is like why sometimes they're not going to be taking it is because of like, my mom always tells it's just the style of it. And my dad says, oh, but J&J, that's not really what Moderna and Pfizer's are doing and all. But my mom's always saying though, but there's all these reports about J&J coming out about, these heart problems and stuff. That's all they talk about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, the question is, does it make sense to argue with your parents and say the risk of COVID is much greater than the risk of the heart thing? But I just don't know, because you might be able to go get vaccinated now, depending on the law in your state, or in 5 months you can. I just don't know if it's worth fighting with them. I don't know.
Yeah, I never tried doing that because, again, I know what they really do believe in.
This is depressing, huh?
If
I just wants to get vaccinated.
Really try to tell them the truth and all, they are really third against it.
Let me ask you this, Adam. Is your mom less against it than your dad?
I don't think so. I think she's not really against. I think she's, again, more skeptical of it. She's a skeptic.
But what I'm saying is, if there was one parent who would be more okay with you getting the vaccine, would it be your mom or your dad?
Probably my dad, yeah.
Okay, so maybe when your mom's not around, you go to your dad and you say, Dad, listen, I need to be protected. I need to go and get the vaccine. Will you come with me so that I can get it? And just see what he says.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. And again, this might be moot because 17-year-olds in your state might be able to my website with the coupon code MyHIPAA and his new member number 132. People confused about what is this MyHIPAA thing. I will show you. Marjorie Taylor Greene HIPAA. It's just making fun of these buffoons. This is it. Well, hold on a second. Let's get the actual video here. Where is the Marjorie Taylor Greene video? Oh, no. Now I'm not even able to find it. There's supposed to be so many Twitter videos of this. Oh, I guess Seth Meyers covered it. So, that's too bad. Anyway, in a video, she says, oh, wait a second. This is my own clip. Hold on a second. Hey, we've got the, okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay, take a look.
2 questions. Have you yourself gotten vaccinated, and do you disagree with the Republican whip?
Well, your first question is a violation of my HIPAA rights. You see, with HIPAA rights.
Okay, so that's my HIPAA, and then here's like the Dallas quarterback.
I don't necessarily think that's exactly important, Clarence. I think that's HIPAA. But I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, none of that relates to HIPAA. It's just journalists asking people questions. But that's where we came up with the coupon code MyHIPAA. So we'll run that until tomorrow night. All right. Let's get to some super chats. I've missed some, and I apologize. What's with all these so-called doctors going on YouTube giving misinformation? And what shocked me the most is that they are more popular among Spanish people. Do you mean Spanish or Hispanic? Spanish means people from the country Spain. Yeah, I'm not sure. Any thoughts on the comment Pelosi made regarding Biden having no authority to cancel student loan debt? Student loan debt, I assume you mean. I haven't seen it. My understanding is Joe Biden could cancel some student loan debt because a lot of that debt is federal, and thus Joe Biden could do that. That's my understanding as of right now. Chad says, sir, data in the USDA Market News Service database shows the weighted average price of mangoes decreased from $1.73 in January of 2020 to $1.15 in July of 21. Where are people getting dollar mangoes? Honestly. Mango. Let's see. Trader Joe's, for example. Oh, these are mango bars. I have not seen, I mean, I must just be going to the wrong grocery store. I must be going to some kind of like hipster, big city grocery store, but I'm seeing mangoes $2.50 each or more. Where are people getting them for $1.15? I mean, you know, they're organic, soy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, other than the natural sugar fat-free. You know, it's basically nothing. It's basically air. Harris Teeter has 5 mangoes for $5. Wow. I don't know what Harris Teeter is. I don't know if that's your friend who's a mango farmer, but that's super interesting. Man, I got to get some of those mangoes. I had no idea that they were that cheap anywhere. 2 for $1. No way. Yeah, guys, I know about frozen mango. Okay, well, let's go back to a couple of voicemails. Here's a really drunk caller.
When you talk about freedom, and again, I was saying, you know, reverse psychology, blah, blah, blah. But when you talk about freedom, I don't like to be told what to do. What about the freedom to have common sense? Because I started wearing a mask on buses and transportation in early March of 2020. I got ridiculed. I got scoffed at. I mean, it's Chicago. I expected it. I go, and I was only nervous because I thought people were going to think that I was sick. But I still fucking did it because, you know, and, you know, here's another thing. Like, the mask is supposed to stop you from spreading. You know, I saw a guy on a bus. He had a...
Okay, he called right back.
For like 18 months, I've been predicting the future. Like, everything that's happened, like, in my mind, I, like, knew ever since a couple months before the pandemic started. Well, technically, the pandemic started in November in China of 2019. That's why it's COVID-19, right? But yes, variants. Every year we're going to be having to get vaccines. I understand that shit. Okay.
Oh, man.
But the one thing is, I went to urgent care because my blood pressure was too high for donating plasma. That's why I've been so broke this month. They don't let you give plasma if your blood pressure
Convalescent plasma.
If the bottom number's over
Donate
100.
plasma today.
So I went there like 4 days in a row. It was always over 100. Tomorrow I'm going to try to get a Xanax and then take half a bar and go give plasma. I'm going to try to be smart about this now, but my point is, I went to urgent care and I asked the head nurse in charge,
oh, man,
did you get a booster shot yet? And she goes, no, it hasn't been recommended.
She said, sir, no.
I'm foreseeing the future with this variant and other variants before it gets crazy, because once they announce it, especially in areas...
Yeah, I don't know what I know, guys. I don't know what he's talking about. Then he called right back again.
See, I'm not a psychic. I don't believe in any kind of magical shit. I don't believe in any religion. I believe that there might be, there's life on other planets, but there's definitely in other galaxies, there's probably higher intelligent life. Now, if you just go through the evidence, I'd rather believe in a possibility of higher...
Now I'm actually interested. Now I want to hear this guy's theory of cosmology.
...intelligent life in other galaxies than believe in a god on a cloud. You know what I mean? You know, that was created 2,000 years ago. And then, yeah, the Jewish religion was created... 6,000 years ago? That's when the Old Testament.
This guy, I think this guy might actually be a genius.
Let's start getting ready. You know, but there's been human civilizations for 100,000 years before that. So, I mean, they're both bogus, but my point is, I was just talking about booster shots. So I don't believe in I don't have psychic abilities, but.
This guy's a brilliant caller.
Like when you live through enough life, and you could kind of you take facts, and you kind of there's patterns. There's patterns in human behavior. There's patterns in human evolution. There's patterns in all this shit. And
he seems to be there's only a few minutes between calls, but he does seem more drunk with each call.
Like you do, I know you do. You can kind of predict it. Intelligently predict the future. And look, I swear to God, I called you probably 2-3 minutes ago. And I'm like, you know what? Suggest to your audience to get a booster. And then I continue to play your stream. I'm not kidding. 2 minutes later, Biden's talking about a booster shot. And I'm watching what he's going to say, but like it's common. It has to be common sense. I'm not the only one. I'm a dumbass drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one with common sense.
This is maybe the best caller now, right?
Maybe my common sense is a little higher. Maybe I have a little more sense than the average Republican.
Yeah.
Or Yeah, the average Republican who doesn't have money.
Notably self-aware, yeah.
Because there are a lot of Republicans.
I do think he's revealing a lot of things that are violation of hippo, rhino, and giraffe, though.
Who really only wanted the tax breaks. You know, there's all money. But there's so many of them that have no money. And they just got conned. They got brainwashed. And they got this and that. Fuck them. Get a booster shot.
He's really putting his mangoes out there and letting us, you know, really do what we want with it. Here's one this is from the previous day.
Hey, between me and you, Mr. Pakman, thank you. You did play a couple of messages, and I'm not happy about that, but I wasn't in a blackout.
Oh God, this definitely violates HIPAA. This is my HIPAA.
Oh, I kind of remember those ones. So thank you for at least, you know, I have issues, you know that, and I wasn't complete. I was probably started drinking. Of course, I wouldn't call your show unless I was drinking.
Who would?
I mean, I love watching your show, whether I'm sober or not.
People will watch sober, but only call drunk, yeah.
But for whatever reason, I lack self-control and when I'm drinking. And, you know what? Thank you. I mean, because I'm sure there was more messages that I left that you could have played that were so off base. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I know you don't like people calling you. I mean,
well, why do I have a voicemail number? I mean, to some degree, I need people calling.
Think about it. You're such a nice guy, and there's so many people, especially through the pandemic, that have been by themselves or with their wives or with their girlfriends or gay, homosexual lovers, you know?
Sure, anybody. This guy doesn't care. Anybody. Just lovers of all kinds.
And they're watching your show because, you know, there's been so much less contact with human beings. So when I'm drinking, all I watch is you every fucking day.
Oh, boy.
You know,
I'm getting bummed out, guys.
You know, I'm thinking, oh, this guy is my friend. I gotta tell him.
So there's like a parasocial type thing going on.
My point of view, and maybe it'll slowly leak out, like with the whole reverse psychology with Republicans. You know what I mean? So, no, thank you. I know you could.
Oh man, I think maybe this guy should guest host for me next time I'm away. You guys want to do one more from this guy, or do we move on? I don't know. Let's just see.
The whole Chinese thing, yeah, that was funny. That woman after the Chinese guy, that woman who put Jesus of Nazareth in the same couple sentences as Donald fucking Trump. Now, yeah, I grew up Catholic, and I don't believe 90% of the Bible, and because I've been doing my research, and they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, but the point is Jesus of Nazareth was a man of the poor, and all he was really saying is we're all connected. We are probably all one big living organism, and we don't even realize it. We're all somehow connected. And he was just saying, we're all God. We are all the chosen people. But that's really all he's saying. But he was a man of the poor. It wasn't until the Roman Catholic Church accepted what he did and made it into a rich person thing. But Jesus.
All right. Anyway, now it's going completely off the rails. I don't know what anything that's about. So that's it. That's our new caller. I don't know what his nickname would be. A little bit of a bummer. From Chicago. Definitely, you know, seems to have an issue with drinking, I think it's fair to say. Few super chats coming in. Bash Brannigan says, why have no reporters challenged Marjorie Taylor Greene that HIPAA isn't a valid excuse? I don't know. Sir, Stop and Shop is selling mangoes 10 for $10. I'll take 100. Wait, 10 for $10. How much is that if you just buy 2? Hold on. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Times 2. That's $3, right? For 2 of them? Math is tough. Math is really, really tough. Okay. Has the press briefing been canceled? That I don't know. It's certainly plausible. It's certainly plausible, yeah.
Hey, dog. B-Dog here. Big fan of you, David Pack Dog. I just wanted to ask you about Nancy Pelosi called Minority Leader McCarthy a moron recently, dog, in regards to masking in the House. Is that beneath Nancy Pelosi, dog, or do dogs like McCarthy deserve to be called what they are, dog? I'll take my questions off the air, dog. I mean my answers, dog. You know what I mean. I dog.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry. I'm unable to say for sure because I just don't know a damn thing about it.
Hello, David. I just got finished watching Joe Biden's most recent address to the nation, I guess you would call it. And I just wonder why it is that we as a nation keep catering to people that are holding the country back. Why do we never seem to reward the people who make the sacrifices to keep this country going? I don't know. Maybe you don't see it that way. Would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, I've addressed this before, which is it's not necessarily about catering, but if you just ignore them and let them run rampant, then they do sort of like start to win with their insanity. So it's kind of a I think it's much more complicated than that, and I've addressed it before. I think it is definitely something. It's more nuanced than that, I guess, is what I would say.
Hi, David. I'm calling from Grand Junction, Colorado. And I just noticed that in media coverage of vaccine hesitancy, that not enough attention is given to why a lot of Black people are not getting vaccinated.
I think there is attention paid on.
You know, as a basis, the mistrust, social norms. So there's a Dr. Bennett out of Duke University that talks about a lot of this, and
it's an issue we've talked about.
I thought something really interesting to point out was that throughout like British history, there's always like conflict in between like British and I don't know the families or feuds. Like there's tons of literature and glorification of like them all dying and stuff like that. And it's just like the Holocaust, like, I mean, it's basically like, it just seems like a parody of like Richard III.
No, the Holocaust wasn't a parody and it wasn't satire. No.
So I saw that like German is a little bit more closely related than French to Russian. But also German is related to the language called Afrikaans, like an emphasis on the A.
Afrikaans.
Which is like from South Africa. Like
yeah. All right.
Hi. So going off of what I was talking about yesterday about the Indo-European.
The audio is particularly bad in this call.
I just had like kind of some worries about what's going on in Iran. So I noticed that there's like a lot of like Muslims. Like
man, these are really not good.
Hey Pakman, you're a hypocrite. The left has been trying to cancel Tucker Carlson forever.
What?
And as Anthony Brian Logan and the Hodge twins point out.
Who is that? Anthony Brian Logan and the Hodge twins? He watches the most obscure stuff.
You know, do you ever watch other programs or you just only watch your own? And Sam,
I only watch my own program, exactly.
But they point out that this Dan Bailey is a federal agent. He's a globalist. He's part of some environment.
Is he saying that the guy who confronted Tucker Carlson is actually an intelligence officer? Is that what he's saying? The guy in Montana who ran into Tucker, that was a planted intelligence officer? That's so wild, I almost love it. That's amazing.
Group. He had a political agenda. This was planned out. This was.
It was an op.
This man is a CIA agent.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, how stupid would it be? Like, you know, we can disagree about the role of the CIA in Latin America. You know, we can criticize all the, like, how stupid would the CIA to be like, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna send a guy dressed like a fisherman to Montana. And we're just going to have him confront Tucker and tell Tucker he's a bad person. Like, what kind of an operation would that be? Real waste of time.
That left, the political liberal left, the progressive fascists have been attempting to censor and cancel Tucker Carlson, and they have failed. And now they are upping it a notch and going full harassment. And you're a hypocrite. You're a liar. This Dan Bailey wants to harass Tucker Carlson because he has a different opinion. That Tucker has a different opinion than people like you psychopaths on the political left. And I think
I see in the transcript, which can barely make heads or tails out of Troy's mumbling, that the word Argentina is there. So I'm interested when he mentions Argentina.
And when you have it on the shoe, on people confronting you, you're not too happy about it. And I hope more people confront you, Mr. Pakman. I wish that one guy at the restaurant had put it online.
It was actually a woman.
Run away like the scared little pussy that you are. Hey, Pakman, why are you always harassing Tucker Carlson? Is it because he has a different political opinion and you only want people like yourself and Jake Hoover and...
Who did he say? Jake Queever? What was that name he said? Oh, Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur. Oh, my God. What an abortive attempt there.
I'm Hartman to have airtime and express themselves. Hey, Pakman, are all Argentine people like you fascists and believe in you, or are you such a hack for? Are you on the payroll of Venezuela?
No, I'm against the Venezuelan regime. The left, actually, some people in the revolutionary left don't like me because I am not a fan of any authoritarian regime like the one in Venezuela.
Hey, Pakman, what's your deal with Tucker Carlson? Are you jealous?
All right, we're now just going in circles. Then this may have been him again. I don't know.
And Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan.
It is.
A vile authoritarian has used COVID to repress the individual rights and freedoms of the people of Michigan. Or how about Pennsylvania's scumbag and ugly fuck?
All right, I got to dump it.
Big, massive dumps.
We got to get out. Yep.
They call them dumps.
That's what we've got to dump the calls. Okay, I am being notified that the press briefing actually may have been canceled, that there's some issue with the Biden schedule and everything, that it appears that it may not be happening. They are now more than a full hour late. So let's end the stream here, and I will monitor and come back if indeed it seems as though this press briefing is going to happen. Oh, wait. Oh, it's happening. Hold on. Wait. Oh, here we go. Oh, it is happening. Beautiful. Perfect. All right. So let's keep it going. They're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, good. So we're actually going to get a press briefing. It's unbelievable. I'm shocked that it's actually happening. I want to say thank you to Charles Kirkman for signing up on my website with the coupon code MyHIPAA. New member number 133 today. Also, thanks to Becca Rizzo and Manuelaze for the Twitch Prime subs, number 134 and 135. This is a record stream from the standpoint of numbers. Super, super strong. If you're just joining us, we're anticipating Peter Doocy to ask completely unhinged and corrosive questions. This is Peter Doocy right here. So he is in the room. Today's press briefing is going to be handled by the Deputy Press Secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre. They were waiting for you to threaten to shut down the stream. Exactly. That's why they did it now. That's why they signed up. Will I do anything special if we do get to 1,000 Twitch subs? Yeah, I mean, I'll cheer it. It would be pretty interesting. Who are the top gifters right now? Top gifters of all time. I'm Inconsolable has gifted 550 subs on Twitch. David Chadman is in second place with 363. And Spudnik is in third place with 258. Then there's a whole bunch of other people. ODW, Astro Lycos, KY Dizzle, etc., etc. RJC at one point was in the top 3 with 70, but now has been relegated to 10th, that's pretty far down. That's pretty far down, I have to tell you. I would tune in every day if you did live events daily. There really aren't things every day. Like sometimes I'd really be reaching. It would be like, Nancy Pelosi answers 3 questions. Like, I don't know that that's worthy of a stream necessarily. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on. Let's go over here. I think this stream might be stronger.
Preparedness and response activities. This was a follow-up to the meeting the president convened last month with cabinet officials, governors from Western states, and private sector partners. During today's event, the president highlighted the heroism of our firefighters who undertake dangerous work to keep Americans safe, and he discussed the actions his administration is taking to improve emergency preparedness and keep Americans safe. The president and the vice president then received an update from the governors about the situation on the ground. They discussed what their administration can do to support state and local response efforts and ensure the federal government's response is as quick and effective as possible. Driven by extreme heat, prolonged drought, and the changing climate.
I've got a delivery, guys. I'll be right back.
Forest management decisions. The 2021 wildfire season continues to outpace the devastating 2021 season in terms of large fires to date. Already this year, FEMA has approved 20 fire management assistant grants to help states pay for the cost of fighting these fires. The president has been receiving regular reports on how wildfires are impacting communities across the country, and he will continue to closely monitor the severity of this situation. Cuba meeting today that the president's having. Since the historic protest we witnessed in Cuba on July 11th, the president has been watching the events closely. As we have stated before, he's made clear that Cuba is led by a failed and repressive regime, and that communism is a universally failed ideology. That's why from the start, the president has said that addressing this moment was a priority for the administration. We have said many times that Cuban Americans are the best ambassadors for freedom and prosperity in Cuba. As part of that, today, the president will host Cuban American leaders at the White House to discuss the demonstrations and the administration's response. In addition, we also announced yesterday that the president is nominating Cuban American Frank Mora to be the next U.S. ambassador to the Organization of American States, a vital forum where we have and will continue to regularly urge the countries of the hemisphere to support the fundamental freedoms of the Cuban people. And I know you love these. This is of our vaccination update. They're so great. We're always happy to share them with you. So today we recorded over 500,000 new shots in arms, the highest number since 1st of July. And the average number of people getting their first shots each day is up 30% over the past week alone. And this is the third week that states with the highest cases have the highest vaccination rates. Every day, Americans are making the choice to get vaccinated. This is an encouraging sign, but we need everyone across the country to have the conversation with someone they know who is unvaccinated about getting the shot. This is how we will stop the spread of the Delta variant and, as we all know, save lives. Finally, I have a quick preview of the week ahead for all of you. The next week, this next coming week, the president will continue engaging with members of Congress to pass the bipartisan infrastructure deal, which will deliver historic infrastructure investments that will drive economic growth and create good paying middle-class jobs. Also next week, the president will meet with Dr. Eric Lander, his science advisor and director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, about his plan for preparing for future pandemics. On Tuesday, the president will deliver remarks on the administration's progress delivering vaccines to the world to fight this pandemic globally. On Friday, we will deliver remarks on the jobs report. As you all know, it's the first Friday of the month. And lastly, President Biden will then travel to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where he will remain over the weekend. Alex, please take it away.
Sure. So I know we haven't heard out at 3:10, so I have a couple quick questions on Congress. First, the eviction moratorium. Lawmakers are scrambling to find a legislative solution, but Speaker Pelosi said today that she'd like to see the CDC extended. I know you all have cited the Supreme Court decision as the reason Congress needs to deal with it, but why not just extend it, have that legal fight, and give Congress a little bit more room to work?
So as we've stated, Alex, and to your point about Pelosi, the Supreme Court said it could only be extended with congressional authorization. That was their decision. That's how they were able to strike it down, and that's what they said needed to happen. And so
should we try the other stream?
Decision is the reason Congress needs to deal with it, but why not just extend it, have that legal fight, and give Congress a little bit more room to work?
So as we've stated, Alex, and to your point about Pelosi, the Supreme Court said it could only be extended with congressional authorization. That was their decision. That's how they were able to strike it down, and that's what they said needed to happen. And so this bill that Pelosi is asking for, this would meet that requirement if successful. So this is important. It's incredibly important to move forward. And so the administration is going to work together with leaders in Congress on potential avenues to extend the eviction moratorium to protect these vulnerable renters and their families. We understand how critical that is, how important that is. It has been a lifeline to so many Americans here. So this is a public health concern, as you can imagine, that we think should be supported by both Republicans and Democrats. So we support the Speaker's effort, and we will do everything that we can to move this forward.
On voting rights, can you tell us any more information about how the president's meeting with Schumer and Pelosi on the sort of efforts around voting rights?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. That was it? Okay. So, as you stated, the president and the vice president are hosting Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer at the White House today, later this afternoon. And they're doing this because they want to make sure that they continue having the conversation on protecting the sacred right to vote, because it's such it's an incredible priority for them. The president and the speaker, the leader Schumer, are regularly in touch about this, but they wanted to have this meeting in person to talk about the next step. This is both personal to the president, as we've talked about many times, having fought for voting rights his entire life. He spoke about it in Pennsylvania at not too long ago, just a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to just continue having those conversations.
And then one more on the CDC document that was just leaked. The Washington Post obtained a CDC PowerPoint that suggests that the situation surrounding the Delta variant is more dire than the administration has characterized it. I wanted to read a few quotes from it. It said, quote, "Given higher transmissibility and current vaccine coverage, universal masking is essential to reduce transmission of the Delta variant. Quote, Delta variant breakthrough infections may be as transmissible as unvaccinated cases. And quote, risk of infection is reduced threefold in the vaccinated population." And so President Biden has repeated over and over that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, but this PowerPoint seems to raise questions about that. He's also promised to level up with the American people, so his comments yesterday, was he being completely upfront about the challenge from the Delta variant? This PowerPoint would suggest it's a little bit more dire than he laid it out to be. And why wasn't that PowerPoint made public? Why did it have to be to the public? And then lastly...
More questions. I mean, it is a little crazy. This is like the one person at the dinner party who speaks 95% of the time, even though they're one of 12 people.
Areas of high transmission when the CDC seems to be suggesting universal masking is needed.
Okay, Alex, that was a lot. No, I appreciate the question. It's actually a very important question, and we need to, and I'm happy to address all of them. So since May, I just wanted to step back a little bit. Since May, the CDC and the administration have been crystal clear about the increased risk of the Delta variant in our pandemic response. And so
everybody's so confused.
Examples, because this is such an important moment that we're in fighting this pandemic. So in May, out of the concern of the spread of Delta, we restricted travel to India where it was growing. That is something that we did in May. And so that, as you know, that was many months ago at this point, or a couple months ago at this point. In the month of June, doctors from the admin blitzed local constituency and national media with over 400 media interviews with a clear message. Delta is a serious threat, and getting vaccinated is the clear solution. So that was in the month of June, for the month of June. Throughout June, the president, Jeff Zients, and our medical experts spoke dozens of times to the threat of Delta, the threat that Delta poses.
It's a little funny how only 1,000 people are watching the actual White House feed of this, but like 4,500 are watching it on my platforms. It's like none of the numbers are big, but the White House channels get very little interest.
Of recent reporting, it is worth noting that Dr. Walensky said 8 days ago that the Delta variant is the most infectious respiratory disease she has seen in the last 20 years, her 20 years of her career. Our message has always been clear throughout. We need more people to get vaccinated to stop the spread of this variant, and so we have to continue to make that effort. Vaccinated and unvaccinated people infected with Delta have higher viral loads, meaning more virus in their body than with previous variants. The last two did not have that. And so this is what we're seeing in the Delta. High viral loads mean you are more likely to spread it. So in the rare occasions that
we're almost through the first question.
In a breakthrough infection, they may be contagious. And this is what we heard from CDC this week. And so the most important takeaway, and I want to be really clear about this because this is critical for all of you who report about this and for those who are watching, we should have, the takeaway is we should have from this guidance and any follow-up reporting is actually pretty simple. We need more people to get vaccinated. That's the answer. We need more people to get vaccinated. That's if we want to stop the spread of this variant and avoid mutations, we can. So we just need to get more people vaccinated, and the good news is that the vaccines work. So we got to get out there and make sure people get vaccinated.
Convalescent plasma.
The president said for the early months of this administration that those who were vaccinated and wearing masks and doing all those steps could look toward the 4th of July as that independence opportunity. We now know the CDC is basing some of this new science on a 4th of July party that happened in Massachusetts, where the Delta variant was predominant. We saw that vaccinated people were passing it and so forth. Does this give the president pause about making recommendations about what the public can do? Because he encouraged people who were vaccinated to gather on the 4th of July. A group that did so is now sort of a poster example for the CDC of what can happen with this variant.
I mean, you know, Kelly, the president has always said he's going to follow the science and he's going to listen to public health experts. That's what we do, right? That's why we are all following the CDC guidance on masking. And so that's our North Star, as Jen has said earlier this week. Look, the job of all of us in this room is to communicate the truth about where we are in the pandemic. And this is something the president has said from day one, and also highlight how we can get out of this pandemic. So the vaccines work, that's the truth. We know masks work, that's the truth. They save lives and prevent spread of this dangerous Delta variant. So we need to help in communicating the actions we are telling the American people to take and getting vaccinated and wearing a mask. If you're in an area where there's lots of virus circulating, it's more contagious, you have to wear a mask. I know I have one more question that I actually didn't get to.
I hope she answers what's going to happen with mangoes up under Biden.
More data publicly, or this data. So just wanted to say that the CDC's first and foremost priority is getting the American people information as quickly as possible. And so that's what they did on Tuesday. They got it as quickly as they can. They're going to be releasing this data today, as you know. And it was clear that vaccinated people have the ability to transmit, and action needed to be taken quickly. And that's why they did it. They did it ahead of releasing the data, and they're going to do that today, as I just mentioned.
Part of this is also in terms of getting information out. Like, why are the doctors not here in the briefing room to take our questions? Why have we not had a COVID briefing? When we got some update from Dr. Walensky, that was a phone briefing, provides information, but the public is eager to know more about what the Delta variant can do.
You know what, Kelly, I would argue that we had the President of the United States speak to this yesterday. He gave a more than 30-minute speech about where we are as a country. I mean, he is a trusted voice. He is the leader of our country.
No,
but we heard from him, right? We heard from the president yesterday. We heard from the president about the Delta variant and vaccinations in general the day before yesterday when he was in Pennsylvania, when he was supposed to talk about Buy American, which he did, but he led off.
Why haven't you brought in the doctors that my right-wing colleagues in this room will assail the character of mercilessly?
Talking, probably all of them, talking about the Delta variant all throughout these last couple of days. So they have been out there, they have been talking about it. And yeah, we heard directly from Dr. Lewinsky herself. So
Lewinsky,
this is something that we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to make sure that we communicate
Lewinsky's, that's a bit of a...
people, and also work hand in hand with local governments and state governments as well.
Karine, thank you. Just to follow up on all of that, you mentioned the CDC's data that was released on Tuesday. I think the question is, why doesn't that guidance match the internal memo's guidance? Because on Tuesday, they updated the mask guidance to say you only have to wear it in places that have high or moderate transmissibility. The internal memo that was leaked says, given higher transmissibility and current vaccine coverage, universal masking is essential to reduce transmission. So one, why don't the recommendations match? And two, should the American public anticipate updated guidance that includes universal masking and also new guidance about large gatherings and how many people should gather given what we are seeing from Provincetown?
Well, as you know, Weijia, we do not make those types of, decisions from here when it comes to the science, when it comes to guidance, that comes from CDC. So the questions that you just asked me, I refer you to CDC about those slides and the what you saw in the slides specifically. That comes from them, and they will have that specific information for you that you're trying to get here. I will say though, I think the most important thing, and I don't want to get away from this because this is what's the most critical thing here, is that people need to get vaccinated. That's the answer. If we want to make sure that we curb this pandemic, that we curb the COVID-19, that we win this fight that we're in.
Yeah, the answer to all of these things is sort of like, hey, you know what? We're trying to keep up with a changing situation. Masking and gatherings are going to be off and on, up and down until enough people get vaccinated. That's the top line. And everything else is just going to be us reacting to what's going on as not enough people are vaccinated.
Right. We're talking about older people in our lives that we want to make sure are taken care of. And so that is, if anything, should be one of the main reasons people get vaccinated, to make sure they take care of their families and their community.
Has the White House reviewed the CDC's internal memo and slides?
I don't have anything to say about that. Okay. I could look into that.
The analogies are helpful to understand, that the Delta variant is as contagious as chickenpox or more contagious than the common cold or Ebola. Are these things that they're going to present to the public to help?
Ebola is not that contagious, right? Because it's only spread through fluids. I don't know why even she's mentioning Ebola.
Right. So it'll be available. Okay. It's being released today. Yeah.
And one more just follow up on Kelly. Of all the weeks not to have a COVID briefing, why this week?
Yeah, Ebola is only a 1.5 to 2.5 R.
The doctors have been on national television all week speaking to this, answering the questions on your networks. So
an article mentioned it. Okay.
Hiding. They're actually having the conversations with anchors and hosts and answering the hard questions about the Delta variant, about the CDC masking. And so they've been out there. They're not hiding. They're actually speaking to this almost every day. And we heard from the President of the United States yesterday for more than 30-minute speech that many of you were in. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, Peter.
Thank you. Building off of your
Here we go.
The vaccines work. Then why is the president asking vaccinated people to mask up if there have been just 0.0035% of the 161 million fully vaccinated Americans who have had a breakthrough case?
Whoa.
Let me give you the facts about the Delta variant, and maybe this will help Peter. It spreads more than twice as easily from one person to another. And it's spreading rapidly. It is really just across the country, and that is just the fact. 2 months ago, only 1% of COVID in the U.S. were Delta. Now, more than 80% are Delta. And so this is where we are today with this vaccine. And so we are listening to the experts, the CDC guidance, and this is what they are telling us. If you live in an area that is highly contagious and that has high levels, you have to, they are saying, they are, giving the guidance.
I love how everybody has to respond as if the reporter really wants to get a substantive answer rather than just confront.
The preliminary stuff we've seen from the CDC says this new guidance for vaccinated people to mask up is based on data from people who got sick partying in Provincetown, Massachusetts. Has the White House seen any proof that COVID is spreading, vaccinated people are spreading COVID who are not going to big parties?
Here's what we know, and I'm just going to repeat again. We need to get people vaccinated. That is really the answer here. That is what we're seeing that's what we're hearing from CDC. That's what we're even seeing from these slides, is that people need to get vaccinated. That is how we fight the Delta variant. That is how we fight COVID.
And then last one, the president said yesterday, it is still a question whether the federal government can mandate the whole country to get vaccinated. He said, I don't know that yet. Mm-hmm. Does that mean he has asked the Justice Department to see if it's legal to make everybody get a vaccine?
So when he said that about the mandate across the country, I would encourage you to read his statements and make sure you read the contents of his remarks. So a national vaccine requirement is not under consideration at this time. That's where we are.
At this time.
Has he asked the Justice Department to see if it's even possible?
I don't have any more to add to that. Okay.
That will be the subject of a few Fox News stories later today.
100 cases, but 74% of people there are fully vaccinated. So doesn't that at least suggest that maybe breakthrough cases aren't rare?
But that's not what the data shows us. That's not what we've gotten from CDC. We know that it is the breakthroughs that do happen with vaccinated people are rare. And so right now, what the CDC has told us is, because they do know that there are some breakthrough cases, we have to make sure we're masked. And so again, we just have to continue to make sure people get vaccinated. That is the answer. That's how we got to move forward. And that's what we're focused on here at the White House.
So we're supposed to see that as more of a one-off event?
No, that's well, what I'm saying is that what we're focused on, our message is very, very clear, is that we want to make sure that people get vaccinated. That is, yes, that is one event, but what the CDC guidance tells us is that the breakthroughs have been rare. This is what the public health officials have said. Like, yes, there are breakthroughs, but they have been rare. But the problem is that it is now contagious, right? And so that's why they're asking us to wear a mask. Where before, with the last two variants that we've seen, we weren't seeing that. We weren't seeing vaccinated people pass that along. And so now that has changed with the Delta variant. That is how serious this variant is. That's why our message continues to be, please get vaccinated.
On the eviction moratorium, Speaker Pelosi in her statement said that only $3 billion out of an allocated $46.5 billion has actually gone out the door. So what is the administration doing to help get more money out the door faster?
Yeah, so that's a good question, because that shouldn't be happening, right? We are aware that the monies are taking some time to get to some time from, it's already out in the states, some time getting to where the folks who really need it, the renters and lawmakers. So what we have done these past couple of days is we made an announcement last week that $1.5 billion of that ERA went out in the month of June, and that was the most that we saw in the last 5 months. And so we continue to work to make sure that people are being made aware that this is in existence. Look, this shouldn't be happening. States should be making sure that these monies are getting out as quickly as possible. And so just this week we had a day of action to promote the availability of the rental assistance, which reached tens of millions of Americans. Last week, the Treasury released new data, which I just mentioned with the $1.5 billion. And then, so what we know is that these funds can continue to be dispersed to renters and landlords until 2025. And so these emergency rental assistance are so critical, they're so important. And so we're making sure that we continue to work with local governments to get that out.
Yes, I think people are applying. We've heard tens of thousands of people have applied. Yeah. They're just waiting for the funds to be dispersed.
Yeah, I hear you, and that's why we're encouraging the states to get that out as soon as possible. They have it. They need to get that out. Yeah, gotcha.
Karine, given the seriousness of the Delta variant, are there conversations in the White House or between the White House and scientific advisors about more lockdowns, partial lockdowns, or anything along those lines?
So that is something that, I know this was asked to me yesterday. The way we see this is that we have the tools in our tool belt to fight this variant, to fight this vaccine, and we are not going to head towards a lockdown. We want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can, because after passing the historic rescue plan, we have the resources to make sure that doesn't happen. So our role again is to make sure that we get people vaccinated as quickly as possible. Look, these vaccines are free. They're easy to get. They've never been easier to get vaccinated. So that is the number one thing that we're trying to do, is making that happen. We have the resources to do that. That's what we've been able to do this past 6 months. We've been able to get more than 160 million people fully vaccinated. 80% of that are people who are over the age of 65. And so that's what we're going to continue to do. And so our goal is to make sure that we are not headed towards that. That is not going to be the direction that we take, because we have the tools to prevent that.
Yeah, that wasn't so good.
Federal new requirements for federal workers could be an example for other employers. Can you just explain, will federal employees' data be collected when they submit their vaccination status, and will the federal government be paying for the tests that they take if they do not attest to being vaccinated?
So the agencies will pay for the cost of regular federal employee screening tests. So that's how that's going to move forward. And they're going to the agencies are going to be implementing this program themselves. So they'll be in charge of that, how that moves forward. And so that's kind of how that's going to be dispersed.
We're banning a lot of people. It's crazy.
Lastly, the New York Times is reporting and others that President Trump pressed the Justice Department last year to declare falsely that the election was corrupt. Do you have a reaction to that? And would your Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department, do anything about that?
So President Biden has been clear that he believes it is absolutely vital to have a Department of Justice that is free from undue political influence, and these revelations underscore why that's important. Go ahead, Paul.
Thanks, Karine. Just to follow up on Mary Alice's question, her number, at least percentage-wise, was right from the CDC study. It says about 74% of 346 cases had been fully vaccinated in that cluster. So just to clarify, it's still the belief of the administration and the public health officials that breakthrough cases are rare on that.
So what we've been told by CDC and what we know from our public health expert is that they are rare. But here's the thing, and this is what we keep trying to say, is that we got to get people vaccinated. That is what we have to focus on. That is why we're seeing the Delta variant, and so that is what we're working on as an administration. That's what the president talked about. He talked about incentives. He talked about ways to do this in a more robust way, and this is the way we're going to be focused on, is making sure people get vaccinated.
So that actually, that was my follow-up, which is, it's very clear that those who are vaccinated see fewer symptoms, hospitalizations, death. There's no question about it when you look at the data. How concerned are you guys that people see a headline like that about breakthrough cases, or a headline from the slides about transmissibility, and it undercuts?
It's funny. The people writing the headlines that undercut the vaccination effort are asking how they see those headlines. Did you guys see what just happened?
Numbers of people getting vaccinated. And so, if anything, we're seeing people are out there who are unvaccinated clearly getting vaccinated, and so that's critical. That's important. The numbers and the data shows that, and so that's
what can we do about some of the headlines that are making people less interested in getting vaccinated, like the ones my media outlet publishes, for example.
Every single day at a certain point, we were not being tested. I'm curious what the current status of White House staff testing is, and whether, given this news about transmission, there are plans to ramp up that testing.
So we're going to continue to follow the guidance that's been let out, that's been handed, and so all of that is going to be determined. Our testing is going to be determined by the White House Medical Unit. We continue to get tested here. The staff does. So does the president, and so that's what we're going to. That's how we're going to continue to move forward.
So when you say guidance, is that I think the current guidance is only if there are symptoms. If you're vaccinated, is that the current status?
Yeah, but we've also have stated in the past, like when a staffer's around the president, they get tested, and because we're around the president of the United States, we get tested pretty regularly. That's something that we have shared in the past. There's nothing new there, and we're going to continue to follow what the White House Medical Unit entails for us to do as staff and for the president.
On the eviction moratorium, why did the White House wait until yesterday to publicly inform Congress that it was then needed to extend it legislatively?
So let me just first say about the eviction moratorium, because this is, I think, really important. We know that this has a disproportionate effect on those Americans both most likely to face evictions and lacking vaccinations. And President Biden would have strongly supported a decision by the CDC to further extend this eviction moratorium to protect renters at this moment of heightened vulnerability. But like we've all said today, unfortunately, the Supreme Court has made clear that this option is no longer available. So the Supreme Court's ruling stated that clear and specific congressional authorization would be necessary for the CDC to extend the moratorium through July. So one of the things that I do want to say that we have been doing, we have had this whole of government effect to get the word out about the availability of the rental assistance and to support grantees to ramping up their efforts. And so that is our focus, because we know that getting that funding to renters and landlords is incredibly key and important. So we've been doing that since day one. And now what we're saying right now, and what we have been saying, is that we're going to work with Congress to make sure that we're able to extend it. We support Speaker Pelosi in her efforts, and what she is trying to do actually speaks to what the Supreme Court laid out in making sure that there is a continuation of the eviction moratorium.
Right, but the Supreme Court ruling was more than a month ago, and you waited until this week to tell Congress that they needed to do, and you effectively jammed them 2 days before.
We've been having conversations with Congress for some time about this. This is something that we have been working with them with some time about how do we move forward, and so this is we're going to continue to do that, and we appreciate Speaker Pelosi's efforts, and we're going to work closely with her on getting that done. And again, from day one, this administration has been working to make sure that we really take care of the most vulnerable in this country who's been affected by COVID-19.
There was some confusion over military service members being mandated to get the vaccine. The president said yesterday it was all about timing and recommended the DoD study it. The DoD later put their own statement out. But what did he mean that it's all about timing when he also said that the numbers are going to get worse before it gets better?
So I'll say this. The president is asking the Department of Defense to look into how and when they will add COVID to the list of mandatory vaccinations for our armed forces. Anything else, I refer you to the DoD.
For both civilian and military service members?
I just know it's the Department of Defense. That's who he's been talking to about getting that done.
Okay, and then just on a separate note, it was reported this morning that Senator Sinema, a key Dem swing vote, said she will not be putting off August vacation plans to vote on your $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. What's your reaction to that?
Look, I know that this has come up, and I just want to be really clear about this and what Sinema actually said. And so, I'm not going to clearly negotiate or anything like that at the podium, but it's important to be clear about what the senator said. She is going to vote to proceed with the debate on the budget resolution. She expressed reservations about the top line, which she's been clearly clear about, and other senators have said the same, but she's not standing in the way of moving this process forward.
Thanks, Karine. You've been clear that the position of the administration is around the importance of getting vaccinated, but I had a follow-up to Alex's question earlier, because a lot of Americans do not know if they are in an area with substantial or high levels of transmission.
Just Google it.
So while you are trying to get vaccination rates up, is it the position of the administration that local officials in those affected areas should bring back mask mandates?
Well, local officials are going to look at the vaccination rate in their area, and they have the flexibility to put that into place, to put mandates into place, as we've seen across the country. That is not our role here. As the federal government, we are not mandating mask wearing. We're following, again, CDC guidance, and we encourage local governments and states to adhere or to take a look at the guidance and make sure that they keep people safe, right? They keep their communities safe and they keep people in their state safe. So that is what we encourage. And at the same time, I'm going to be a broken record on this because this is true. This is the case. We have to make sure we continue to get people vaccinated.
And a question with respect to Cuba and the ongoing policy review. I know there's a meeting today, but has there been any movement on actionable steps? Specifically, does the president plan to lift travel restrictions between the U.S. and Cuba and make it easier for Cuban Americans to send money to their relatives on the island, both of which are issues he campaigned on?
Yeah, and both important issues that we understand to the Cuban people. So we're not going to preview any specific actions here. That is not something that I'm going to do from the podium. I will say that on the remittances, this is a complex issue that requires coordination with experts that will help to inform the administration's policy. So at the president's direction, the Department of Treasury and State will form a remittance working group to review available.
That sounds like it's going to take a long time.
Channels.
Karine, may I follow up, please, on Cuba? Right back here. May I follow up on Cuba, please? Thank you so much. You may have noticed those protests last week across the street from the White House. I don't know if you or anybody from the White House happened to speak to those protesters, but I did, and it's anecdotal, of course, but they say they see no difference between the policy of President Biden towards Cuba and the policy of former President Obama towards Cuba. Is the approach the same of those two presidents, of President Biden currently and the former President Obama?
So I'm going to be really clear here. So since day one, we have said many times, many times, that the Cuban Americans are the best ambassadors for freedom and prosperity in Cuba. That's what I said at the beginning. Today, the president is going to sit down and to meet with Cuban Americans and leaders at the White House. That's what he's going to do in just a few hours, to discuss the demonstrations and the administration's response. And so including applying new sanctions on Cuba, on Cuban leaders, and establishing internet access for the Cuban people. So we want to lift up the Cuban people, and that is going to be our focus. On July 22nd, the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assistance Control sanctioned one of the Cuban individuals and one Cuban entity for serious human rights abuses and the repression of peaceful pro-democratic protests in Cuba that began on July 11th. So we are going to continue to lift up the Cuban people, and we're going to have a conversation, as I just mentioned. The president will have one today, and we'll probably have more to read out from that. Go ahead, Jane.
Thanks, Karine. Just really quickly, following up on Sungmin's question on the eviction moratorium, you said that you've been working with Congress for some time now. Is there anything you can share in terms of who you've been talking with and when that started? Because Democratic leaders, quite frankly, seem pretty surprised that it's now their responsibility. Obviously, we know the Supreme Court decision has been out for a month. So what can you share in terms of that?
I don't have specific meetings or conversations to share. Look, what I want to make really clear is that we're going to work with Congress to get this done, because we understand the importance of the eviction moratorium to everyday people, especially after what we have seen this past year with COVID-19. That is a priority for us, and we work with Congress on so many different issues and have so many different conversations, and this is going to be a priority. And so we support what Speaker Pelosi is trying to do now.
Do you have any response to Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez calling your handling of the situation reckless and irresponsible, because the White House hasn't shown leadership?
I disagree with the Congresswoman because, as I stated and I've laid out, from day one, we have been working on the emergency rental assistance. We have been making sure, working with local governments to get those funds out. Just last month, we saw $1.5 billion in just 1 month in rental assistance, which was more than the last 5 months. So we have been working very hard in a whole of government approach that we do here at this White House and this administration, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you. Back to Senator Sinema's comments, which you noted her reservations about the price tag. Do White House negotiators and the president support Senate Democrats scaling back the reconciliation deal?
Look, this is a process that we're going through. This is a negotiation process. We're going to continue to have to engage congressional members on the Hill when it comes to reconciliation and also clearly the bipartisan infrastructure deal. So we're not going to, I'm not going to stand here and trying to negotiate from the podium. I'm going to let congressional members do that. We'll work closely with them. We understand this, how incredibly critical this is. This is part of the
Has she clarified if she'll negotiate things from the podium?
Economic policy for this country, and he is all in on this. He brought people here, right, to work with both sides of the aisles to bring this bipartisan deal on the hard infrastructure, and we're going to continue as well with the whole Build Back Better plan.
And back to COVID, I know you said it's up to the CDC and health officials to lead on new recommendations, but has the White House or the president asked them to look at new restrictions, possible restrictions surrounding large group gatherings given the Delta variant transmission?
Again, we follow the science and we listen to public health officials. That's how we move forward with this.
Karine, speaking of the science, Karine. Hi, switching topics. The Biden administration earlier this week laid out their plan on addressing root causes in Central America, including combating corruption in the region. It comes days after Guatemala's special prosecutor against impunity was fired. The State Department has suspended cooperation with Guatemala's Attorney General. So I guess how does this affect the White House's work in the region? And does this cause any setbacks?
Thank you for the question. Yes, this is something that we are very aware of. The situation in Guatemala, look, it's important to us to make sure that, that corruption is, as we're dealing with the Northern Triangle, is dealt with.
Where is her page, guys, on this?
I wanted to share with all of you. If I can find it really quickly. Just give me a second.
Got to reorganize the binder.
I don't have it with me. But it's something that we're aware of. And as you can imagine, as we're dealing with the Northern Triangle, as you just stated, it's critical and important that when we're dealing with these countries and talking about how we're going to help them with the root causes, that corruption, is something that doesn't affect the process that we're trying to make. And when we do deal with the Northern Triangle countries, it's not giving money directly to the government. It's working as well with the organizations on the ground. So that is also critical and important. And so we're going to keep an eye on that. We're going to stay focused on that as well. And we should have more to share on the Guatemala situation. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot.
Anyway, Donald Trump.
Oh my goodness, give me 1 second.
Oh man.
Fresh vegetables.
Our fun Friday.
One of the wettest we've ever seen.
Okay,
from
for
the
our last
standpoint
question for our
of
Fun
water.
Friday Zoom, reporter hailing from Black Information Network, Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa Tyler, how are you?
Hi, Karine. Thank you so much for taking my question.
Oh, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Let's hope like the repeating echo happens.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I know. There are pets questions in the room, for sure.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Oh no, Sam Cedar.
Hello?
I don't understand the question.
How do you test when that it's the Delta strain in the area when people just test whether they're COVID positive?
Well, we don't test it. We listen to public health and scientists, and they tell us that it's the Delta variant.
Oh.
I don't even understand. Why would they explain?
Explain their process of how they're determining it's the Delta variant.
I mean, that's what they are telling us. I laid out why. I laid out how contagious it was, and I laid out why we needed to act on the Delta variant. I laid out
but a lot of
why.
what the answers we get is because they say so without a lot of.
Well, they're the experts. It's not.
Is that
it's not
Newsmax
just
or something?
These are scientists. These are experts. I just said that. Hold on one second. I just said that Dr. Lewinsky said just recently.
Is she saying Lewinsky?
Career, she had never seen a variant that was so contagious. So this is 20 years of her career. So this is absolutely a major problem that we are trying to deal with. That's why we heard from the president yesterday. That's why we keep talking about people need to get vaccinated. So that is the way that we're trying to move in this administration, making sure that we are protecting people here, making sure that we're dealing with this pandemic in a way that is effective, and that's how we're going to move forward. I'll take another question. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Eugene. Go ahead, Eugene.
In April, the chief of staff told Playbook that the education department was reviewing whether the president could forgive student debt, and that review would be done in a matter of weeks, rather than a matter of months. So just wondering where that review stands.
This is the student.
So the president signing away 10,000 or 50,000, which is a big ask.
So I think we've been, the president, as you know, supports Congress providing 10,000 in student relief and debt relief, and he continues to look into what the debt relief actions can be taken administratively. I don't have an update on that at all right now at this moment. Look, the Department of Education is working in partnership with colleagues at the Department of Justice and the White House to review options with respect to debt cancellation. And so again, I don't have any update. Okay. We're gonna have to wrap up. We're gonna have to wrap up, guys. We're gonna have to wrap up. Thank you so much.
Is the video woman going to ask a question or what?
Thank you, everybody. Can we hear you now? We still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I'm so sorry. Are you on mute?
I'm not on mute. No.
Okay, so we're trying to hear you and we cannot. Vanessa, I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
Do you want to write a note? Let us know what your questions is. All right, Vanessa. We'll try next Friday.
Okay. Thank you.
Like they can hear her, but they seem to be able to hear her.
Yeah, next Friday would be fine. I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly. I can hear you, and I'm understanding.
All right, guys. Vanessa, we'll see you. We'll try and do it next week.
Oh man, isn't that the best? What a mess. What a tech disaster. You know what would be useful if someone can get me, that reminds me, there's clips that would be good for my soundboard. The 2 or 3 times where Trump had audio feedback during those rallies before the election, and then like criticized the audio engineers. I think that would be, those would be really good if somebody can get those to me. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll have some streams in the very early days of August. Then I'll be away for a little bit. Then I'll be back. It's just all going to be, oh, can you guys not hear me? Oh, that's too bad. That's a shame. No, thank you, everybody, for joining me. They were only about an hour and 10 minutes late, but we got it done, and I'll see you soon.